Welcome to, like, my favorite box ever, which currently has somewhat exploded on my bed. This is my very elegant craft box. This is where I keep my yarn, some of my little projects. I made a bunch of little like, hats, tiny little pom-pom hats. My fabric scraps, my embroidery thread, and my actual sewing boxes in here, my embroidery hoops. Yeah, basically just a bunch of everything, which is what I'm working with right now. Like, literally most of the fabric I have is just scrap fabric. Like, here is a bunch of scraps, Christmas scraps. And what this is actually from is about 2 summers ago, I was working in a museum, and it was decided that we would create a quilt. And so what we did is we sent a letter to the local fabric stores, basically letting them know that we were hoping to make this quilt to give away as a door prize. And for that reason, they donated a bunch of just bags full of random scraps of fabric. Like test scraps, scraps that had been at the end of the roll, scraps that are there to, a lot of like the Christmas ones are there to show the different Christmas patterns you can get and what they look like together. So they're not things that they could sell. In fact, a bunch of them even had things like glue on the back, like this. You can see this from where it was displayed. So they just gave us a whole bunch of these things, and we were able to make a quilt out of it. Only one of us had done any hand sewing, and it wasn't me. There were 3 of us, all my age, and I hadn't done hand sewing before, and neither had one of the other girls, and the third girl who was teaching us how to do it had like minimum, and like we had no access to a machine. Everything was hand sewn, and we had a lot of extra fabric scraps left. Now some of them weren't appropriate for the quilt we were trying to make. So we did, we made, especially to practice our stitching, a bunch of hand-sewn bags that we then put the children's activity books and things like that, so we could give them away to kids. But we still had a bunch left, and things that we didn't think the museum could use. Like, check out this one. This is a Christmas flamingo fabric. Don't ask me why. So a bunch of us, we gotten into the hand stitching, we did some embroidery, so it became stuff we worked on in the museum. It was a very small one during the day, and so like it was how I got into embroidery. So at the end of the summer, we were able to go through and pick out of the scraps that were left the ones we were interested in keeping. So that's why I have like just a bunch of random scraps in here. I have not purchased fabric yet. I would love to. I've got some plans to make some quilts in my year off, working year, but right now I want to go ahead and make a pillow. So I just got to figure out how I'm going to do that.